Welcome to the TechHub.training Excel Bonds James Bonds Challenge Solution video. I'm going to go through a little bit of the data dictionary first over here, and then we will dive into our actual solution in the Excel file. The main thing that I wanted to talk about was the present value column, especially if you decided to do the extra challenge of importing the CSV and converting this present value column into usable data yourself. Because bonds are typically traditionally recorded as 30 seconds. You have your dollar amount and then the cents are recorded as 30 seconds. The original purpose of that was to make math easier back before we had spreadsheets, and we've just kind of continued that tradition since then. So that means that as you're pulling present value data from, let's say, the internet, you're not going to be able to use that data raw. You're going to have to transform it into dollars, cents, and then get your total present value from there. So, as you can see here, this is the formula we used to just get the text before the space, then the text after the space, and before the slash and after the slash. Divide those by each other to get our total number of cents, and then we add those dollars and cents to get our total present value. And now we finally have some usable data. Then we can create a pivot table from there, which is just insert pivot table while you're selected in the data file. Our pivot table looks like this. We have as our values the sum of the total present value column and also the count. I like to include that to get an idea of how many bonds these clients have. If it's an outrageous number, that indicates there might be something wrong. And then our filters are maturity and client. We edit those filters here. I added in slicers just so that I could see a little bit easier than these tiny drop downs. And to add those slicers is just in the pivot table, analyze, insert slicer. Then if you decide to use a data table, you can also use the drop downs here, kind of the same way as we would in a pivot table. Just drop down, pick the client we want and the maturity date that we want. But another option would be filtering. So under Data, Filter Advanced, you'll select your table here, and then our criteria range. As long as we have our headers that match the headers here, we can put in an if-then statement, something that can be evaluated as true or false here. Put in filtering criteria here, and that will also filter our data for us. When they're stacked on top of each other, that means it can be either or. If it's next to each other, that means it has to be both and. There can be more about advanced filtering that could be said, but just wanted to show you that that was also an option that is available when you use data tables as opposed to pivot tables. If you have other questions, comments, feel free to leave them on the original challenge or on this video, and hope that this was helpful. Thank you.